If ever there were a stressful time to start work as a Connecticut lawmaker, surely it has to be now. Representative Len Greene Jr. is a rookie rep from the 105th District, Ansonia, Beacon Falls, and Seymour. But he's had plenty of political exposure, the son of former state rep Len Greene Sr. and the grandson of former Beacon Falls First Selectman James Greene. He also worked as a staffer in various positions at the Capitol. Representative, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, we were obviously just having a big discussion about these town hall meetings, and I'm wondering what your take is on them.
Well, I believe you had asked the question, or you had posed the question of what it meant that so many different people were actually showing up. There was a ramp up, I guess, of the attendance.
Yeah.
And I think that's very clearly showing that people are getting more and more, I don't want to say excited, but I guess interested and it seems to me irritated with regard to the governor's proposals and how the legislature has not really addressed it at this point. And I think it's an indication that people are really fired up about this and they want to see something done. So I think that the general gist of it so far has been received by the governor, I think, very well. I got to give him credit. It's a tough thing to stand in a room of a couple thousand people or whatever it is, and take a beating like that. But it's great that he's actually doing it, and I think that there are going to be some positive aspects of it.
And I guess your constituents are saying something to be done other than raising taxes.
That's the general gist of it, absolutely. I've been getting, I can say honestly, I've gotten hundreds of emails already from my constituents just pleading with me to oppose the tax increases and to find real cuts. That's something that, unfortunately, I don't believe the governor has addressed appropriately. I'm sure it's been spoken in the past. The cuts that he's claiming to have put into the budget are actually cuts the current level of spending or level services budget, which is government speak for basically whatever the cost of living adjustments are and contractual obligations are going to be. But the fact of the matter is it's still an increase in the budget. We're still going to see hundreds of millions of dollars of spending that we didn't see before. And my constituents haven't been fooled, and I don't think very many other constituents have been fooled either. So,
well, the biggest increase was to get some further federal funding. So, I mean, some of that is sort of a net. But is your caucus prepared to put on the table specific cuts? We've seen in these town hall meetings, you had blind people stand up in the front of the auditorium holding their canes to make the point. He's making cuts in the Board of Ed services for the blind. Mm-hmm. You have all kinds of groups that are looking for help from the state who are showing up, and they're pushing the governor on the cuts he has made. So how much deeper are you guys going to go, and how specific are you going to be?
Well, quite honestly, we are working on a lot of different proposals. As far as the details are concerned, we're still working on that. But I can honestly assure you that we will have proposals and alternatives that will be, in all honesty, not very easy to make, but they're going to have to be made. We were elected to do a job, and that's the way I look at it. That's the way a lot of my colleagues look at it. And just because something's going to be difficult to do, and it's going to be very hard to look somebody in the eye and say, we're going to have to cut your program. That's the truth. If that affects us in the polls next year, well, then that's the way it has to be.
Do you believe this budget can be balanced without any tax increases?
I believe there are better ways to present it, and I think that if we don't try, then we've already failed.
What do you mean better ways to present it? Does that mean different taxes, or again, are you saying you can do it with $3 billion plus in cuts?
Well, the problem is, and this is the thing that I've noticed as a freshman lawmaker, the thing that I've been most frustrated with is the fact that nobody really wants to look at this in a different way than we have in the past. Nobody wants to really look at how we present government services and the way we've offered them in the past. It's just simply a matter of, well, we're going to have to cut this, or we're going to have to increase this, or whatever. There are different ways we can approach it. There's privatization. There's all sorts of different what's the word I'm looking for? Public-private partnerships and whatnot that we can look into before we start talking about tax increases on an already overburdened tax space.
One program that always seems to come up every session and failed this year after some people thought that it might get some legs or have some legs is Sunday sales. Tell me what happened there.
Sunday sales, it's an interesting topic because a lot of people in the state really want it, and I can understand, it's an inconvenience to worry about, if you want to go out and buy something from the package store, you have to worry, oh, well, it's Sunday, I can't go today. That is an inconvenience, and I share that sentiment. The difficulty and this is something that most people don't really consider, is that a lot of the package stores in the state of Connecticut are small businesses. They're owned by, families, mom and pop shops that are really, they're making a living, but they're not making enough to really ramp up their operations. And if you add an extra day in which they would more than likely be, they wouldn't be obligated to be open, but if you're not open on that particular day, you're going to lose customers. Unfortunately, I think it's really going to hurt some of these businesses. And if in this particular economy, if we start pushing people out of business, I think we're doing a serious disservice to our constituents and to our economies as a whole. Because in all honesty, it's not just that particular business that's hurt. It's also the municipality. It's the shopping plaza that it's in. There's a vacant storefront again. Nobody's opening businesses right now, not on any grand scale. Right. So.
Why do they deserve special protection? Aren't there other small businesses that are also struggling in this environment that are forced to stay open 7 days a week? Some of them family businesses who are staffing it themselves?
That's a great question. And in all honesty, I understand your point that you're making, that really it's a free market economy. We should really allow businesses to operate in the market the way they should. But unfortunately, in this particular case, like I said, with this economy being what it is, if we are doing anything that will result in store closures or people losing more jobs, then we as lawmakers have failed in our jobs in Hartford at this particular time. So, as far as them getting special treatment, I don't know if it's the best time to really worry about special treatment versus versus what's best for retaining jobs that we already have and maintaining the business base that we already have in place.
Is there a mindset at the Capitol to do dramatic change that, I was talking to Larry Perez, you're the minority leader, the other day, and he was complaining that he has not seen evidence of the systemic change that the governor says he wants to push. But you look at the hearings that go on in the Capitol, there's still plenty of groups and people who are coming up asking for more. Yeah. So is that realization sunk in yet that we are in a time and a place where there has to be dramatic changes in the way we do business? I
don't think so. Not so far. Not that I've seen. And that's been a frustration of mine and actually many of the other new guys that are up there as well, and ladies. We really don't see an urgency, a sense of urgency. But then again, I don't really blame the agencies or the special interest groups that are asking for more, because if you don't ask, you're never going to get it. And in the past, they've been able to ask for whatever they wanted, and quite often, they were awarded at least something in return. There's countless instances of various programs that have been put in place and funding that's been put in place that unfortunately I don't think is going to go away very easily. And there is a growing number of legislators, I think, that are really interested in trying to change systemically, as I spoke before, trying to make the change that we absolutely need and are way overdue. But unfortunately, I don't think it's quite there yet.
So without that sense of urgency, do you think that this budget battle is going to be extended beyond deadlines?
I may be a new guy, but I've been around the building long enough to know that sometimes is a pipe dream. But I'm confident that we'll find some sort of common ground at some point. I'm very, very adamant that we in the House Republicans, the Senate Republicans, everybody in that building should have a voice at that table. And thus far, from what I understand, obviously I'm not leadership, so I'm not in the room, but we've gotten at least some say. And if it takes longer than June 8th, then that needs to happen. We need to have a balanced budget no matter what, and we need to do a responsible job. But we'll see.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. We're out of time, and we thank you for your time.
I really appreciate being here.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot to Representative Len Greene and, of course, to Mark Pazniokis as well. Coming up, Connecticut's congressional delegation is busy with the budget and frustrated. We'll tell you what they are fighting for this week in D.C.